What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Breakdown Sportscast. I'm your good friend and host, Kory Willis. I hope everyone's doing well on a Friday, getting ready for another great week. Week 11 of the college football season out there. So I hope you guys are finishing up your work week and getting your tailgating ready, getting the food ready for a great weekend of college football. So overall, hope everyone's doing great out there. As always, we appreciate you guys listening in on the show. Guys, you know, we're on multiple streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Amazon Audible, iHeartRadio, and many other streaming platforms out there. So, as always, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the show. Definitely helps us know what we're doing and how we can improve the show for the future for you all. So, as always, we very much appreciate you guys' support. As always, guys, you know who I'm with. I am with my good friend and co-host. He is Chris Bolton. Chris, what's going on, my man?
What's going on, Kory? Nothing much, brother. Just as we record the show, just finished up seeing what was a crazy Thursday night football game, and hopefully college football weekend will be just as crazy as what we just finished seeing wrap up.
Yeah. That most definitely, you know, as we're recording this on a Thursday evening, we had a great game between the Bengals and the Ravens. So it came down to the wire. Mistakes were made, and week 11, Chris, of college football, mistakes will be made, and people's playoff dreams will come crashing down. That we know for sure.
That's anything that we can bank on. It is college kids making mistakes.
Yes. That's definitely something that I think we always look forward to each and every week.
Right.
In this game of college football. So yeah, man, it's a great week of games. A great slate, Chris. Before we talk about the games, on Tuesday, we did have the first reveal of the college football playoff rankings. We no longer need to look at the AP polls. That's irrelevant at this point. The CFP rankings are the actual rankings that we look at for, you know, these final 5 to 6 weeks of the college football season. So, real quick, Chris, I want to kind of get your thoughts on this first top 25 ranking. What were your thoughts about the reveal of some of these teams? What did you like? What you probably didn't like? And how do you think the committee is kind of looking at some of these teams as we're kind of heading down the stretch of the season?
You know, I'm not surprised by the rankings, by how some of the how the CFP playoff poll has turned out. Me personally, Kory, I would have liked to see Notre Dame penalized a little more for their loss to NIU. The team that's also had we didn't think it was a weak schedule in the preseason, but you know their best win is Texas A&M early in the year.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Because I did.
That's a really good win, but that NIU loss is very glaring in my eyes, and
sticking out like a sore thumb.
And I just feel like a team like the SMU, who is undefeated in the ACC, only losses to a team that's ranked number 4 in the CFP playoff bracket of BYU. I feel like they should be a top 12 team in the CFP rankings, and you know, personally. So, especially for basing this off of what's taking place in the regular season, and not necessarily a power rating on who we think would be favored and win in a game, but based off of merit and what's taking place on the field. I feel like the SMU deserves to be up there, but there's plenty of football left to be played, and hopefully, as the dominoes continue to fall, we can trust the committee to do what's needed to be done. And I use that word trust very loosely, Kory.
I can actually hear the trust that you have in the committee just by you saying the word trust, good sir. I love it. I love it. I'm the same as well. So. No, I definitely agree with what you're saying, Chris. Definitely do.
Yeah, no, there's so much that can shake out. There's so much left that can happen. But I mean, what's the committee going to do come conference championship weekend? Which is very interesting to me too. Will the BYU still be in it if they lose in the Big 12 championship game? Because that is very possible. We're talking about America's conference here. Yeah, anything can happen in the Big 12. Will the SMU say they win out, but their only losses they lose to Miami in the ACC championship? Are we going to knock them for losing to Miami? Are we going to knock teams for losing in conference championship games? Because that's all you're telling me is we don't need to be in the conference championship game if it's going to hurt us. Pretty much. We lose it.
Yeah.
Or better yet, a team like the A&M, let them mess around and make it to the championship game and in the SEC championship game and lose, and they have 4 losses or something like that. Are you going to keep them out because they got a 4th loss now after losing in the SEC championship game? There's a lot of crazy scenarios that can happen, and everybody thought it was going to be much better now that we got 12 teams. Y'all ain't seen nothing yet.
This is actual chaos now. I'm sitting there looking at those 12 teams being mapped out, Chris, this week, and I'm just like hearing guys like Greg McElroy and them, just see the teams, but at the same time having these questions like, how's this going to work out towards the end? Like, this is pandemonium before pandemonium strikes.
We're watching the storm. It's almost like before the hurricane makes landfall. We see it out there in the ocean, just getting stronger, getting bigger, and then we're seeing this all unravel. It's only going to get crazier and crazier with all the parody this season.
Yeah,
the scenarios. It's just so much that can happen. Doctor Strange is at work right now, just trying to see what's about to take place, what's going to happen.
Oh my God! No, you're absolutely right. This is this is a mess waiting to happen, and
it's 07 with a playoff bracket.
No, you're right. You're right, and chaos only creates more problems for this committee in terms of getting it right. When we had the 14 playoff, Chris, every year, everyone always said like the committee has to get the 4 teams right. They have to figure out who's the best 4 teams that's going to make it in there, and now that's from the 4 to 12.
That word "best" is so subjective. Just way to ruin what it meant for someone to have a good season and throw that word "best" in there, because there's some teams that record might not be as good that you might consider to be better because of the conference that they played in and how those losses happened. So, but yeah. This is craziness, Kory. It's only going to get crazier as the weeks continue.
Yeah, you're definitely right. So it's interesting to see what happens. I mean, like we had mentioned off the air before we started recording. Like teams like Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt has been a team that's been pretty much Travis Hunter campaigning for a spot in the top 25 in somebody's top 25. I mean, they are in the AP top 25, but that doesn't even matter anymore. So this is a team that's been playing some really good football as of late, and them getting snuffed, I think, in the first week of this whole thing is it's pretty alarming to me.
That is not what Texas Tech wanted to see.
No, not at all.
That is the last thing they needed. They do not need Colorado with any fuel to the fire. You want Colorado feeling really good about themselves. And so that's unfortunate, Texas Tech. But yeah, Kory, they are a group that's really right there in the thick of it.
Yeah, they are.
Colorado, they are right there in the mix. So man, oh boy, it's gonna be a fun November, brother.
It's gonna be fun. I mean, look, we're gonna be doing this all over again on Tuesday night of next week. So we're gonna be asking ourselves, having our pads like what you did wrong this week.
I would say I'm glad I don't have to make the decision.
Yeah,
but I'm not. We need to be making these decisions because I don't trust the committee. Not one bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've made our prognostications before on things, Chris, and we've come out looking a lot better than a lot of these national pundits that really get paid the big bucks to make these decisions. So hey, maybe the CLP, maybe the AP, maybe anybody, throw us a bone a little bit. We can make this right.
Please, we will help you out gladly.
Yes. Oh man, but yeah, I think it was an interesting first week of the rankings reveal, and I know this coming Tuesday of next week will be just as eventful. I'm sure of it. So we'll definitely be talking about it next Friday, just to kind of break down and see how things kind of take shape. But yeah, man, it was definitely interesting for sure, and we'll see what happens. But anything else you want to mention about the rankings before we move on to some of the top games?
Let's get to it.
All right. Well, Chris, big slate. Week 11 is here, and we got a couple of games this week that will really decide on who is a contender in this 12-team playoff and who is a pretender in this 12-team playoff. And boy, do we have a big game in Oxford, Mississippi, Chris. Number 16, Ole Miss, hosting number 3, Georgia. The Bulldogs are coming to the vault. 2:30 kickoff on ABC. I mean, this is going to be a big one, Chris. I mean, Vegas has Georgia as a 2.5 point favorite to win this ball game. ESPN's matchup predictor, Chris, 53.9% goes to Ole Miss. So the models are all over the place right now in terms of this game. But good sir, I'm going to leave the floor to you.
Oh man,
let us know what are your thoughts about this game heading into Saturday, because this is all me and you have been talking about, off and on this week, and everyone around the country. This is a big game for both teams, but
this is huge.
who is it? Who's gonna stand tall at the end of this? Don't know, but I'm gonna leave the floor to you. What are your thoughts about this game?
As we all know, I am a Georgia fan. I've been rocking with the Dogs since David Pollock, since David Green, DJ Shockley. Yeah. What y'all know about DJ Shockley? Um, but I will not let my red and black color lens blind me. We will talk about this game objectively, Kory. And after seeing Georgia in person against Florida in a game that I am not sure Georgia wins if DJ Lagway doesn't get injured.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that more and more by the day.
That they were right there in the mix. Georgia, Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a team that looks to have found themselves offensively last week. Granted, Arkansas defense isn't the best thing on the market, but no Trey Harris, and Jackson Dart has the game of his life. That's what you wanted to see if you were an Ole Miss fan, because the Ole Miss offense has been lacking in SEC play, Kory. You turn around and look at Georgia. Somehow, some way, they won at Texas despite Carson Beck playing trash. So you know this team can lock up and find ways to win, even with the offense having its troubles, their quarterback having his troubles. And did so again against Florida. But Kory, I don't know if that can happen a third time. I think Georgia has to figure out what's going on with Carson Beck, and if they win this game, it is not in spite of Carson Beck. Carson Beck will have to be a reason that they won it. And I don't know if that's going to be the case. We talked about all season, Kory. When we make it to this point in the season, what do we say?
When you are, that doesn't change.
Yeah, you are who you are. So I don't think Georgia's offense is set up to be one of the offenses that they have been over the last few seasons. Mm-hmm. Do they have talented players? Yes. Do you have guys who can make plays? Yes. Smith on the outside, and speed he possesses. A Bell, ETN in the backfield. You have guys that can make plays. A London Humphreys, you got guys who can make plays. Good, Delp, but your quarterback isn't seeing the field. Ole Miss has, dare I say, an elite run defense, and Georgia has struggled to run the ball this season. Good pass rushers. It'll be a very interesting matchup because Georgia's been one of the best pass blocking teams in the nation. But that hasn't stopped Carson Beck from throwing picks.
Which is more alarming than anything that's happened to Georgia this season. Is like, man, they have a really good line. Carson Beck still looking in La La Land for whatever reason. And you saw it in first person mode.
Triple coverage. It's like, dude, do you not see them? He's not open. And it hasn't stopped him. And I think Ole Miss, knowing everything that's on the line this season, they can either step up and that fuel them to play one of their better games of the year, or it can be too much. And they fold. It would be very Ole Miss for Ole Miss to fold to the pressure. But I don't know if they're going to necessarily feel the pressure, because there, in my eyes, there is a real chance, a real opportunity for Ole Miss to get out ahead of Georgia very early in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm leaning towards, Kory. I think Ole Miss, despite the the Georgia blood that runs through me as a Georgia Bulldog fan. I think Ole Miss wins this game. I think it's set up for Ole Miss to win. You're at home. Desperation mode. And this Georgia team, despite beating Texas, how good do we think Texas is? Do we know if anybody's really just that great anymore? I'm just being real. That's a big win, but is that enough of a win to make you think that Georgia couldn't lose on the road against a very talented Ole Miss team? I don't think so. I think Ole Miss wins. I do. I just don't see it with Georgia, and at some point, it's going to bite you. And I think it bites Georgia this weekend.
Wow. No, I definitely get where you're coming from, Chris. I mean, look, the last couple weeks looking at Georgia has not been fun. It has not been fun. Even when they've been winning, it has not been fun.
Georgia fan that left that Florida game feeling good was lying to themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, this team is on the brink of a possible loss again. For me, Chris, I gotta be honest with you, man. I definitely understand why people all week have looked at this game as being one of those games where you can't gauge who is gonna win, honestly, because for me, I definitely agree with you. Then just looking at Ole Miss's performance on the field, yeah, they lost to Kentucky. That wild ending in Baton Rouge, hurt them as well. Reason why they're at this point now. But overall, this defense is probably one of the better defenses I've seen at Ole Miss in a long time. I think they can hold their own against Georgia. My thing of it is, if there's anything that has me concerned about Ole Miss coming into this weekend's game is, can Jackson Dart, can Lane Kiffin get that type of production out of Jackson Dart in this game against Georgia? Say what we want to say about the offense, but the defense for Georgia, at times, they are a little suspect. But when it comes down, Chris, to these big games, they show up. Can Jackson Dart still be Jackson Dart? Will we see the Jackson Dart from last week against Arkansas still have that type of production against a Georgia Bulldogs defense that's stifling people in big games like this? Look, I was firsthand being the one that was saying Texas was going to manhandle Georgia in Austin. That did not happen. On paper, it should have happened, but it did not happen once the game happened. So I'm as crazy as it sounds, Chris, I still got to pull for Georgia in this one. I think they're going to win. Do I think they're going to win by a lot? Who knows? I don't think so. But when you have the defense that is just ruthless as the Georgia defense, and you got Kirby Smart out there, making adjustments at halftime, because there will be adjustments made in order for them to try to even the playing field, I should say. I think Georgia has enough horses in the stable to run out of Vaughn Hemingway with the W. Look, I know that sounds crazy, Ole Miss fans, but I just gotta be real a little bit on that one.
It doesn't sound crazy. It's just as likely that Georgia wins as it is at Ole Miss fans. There is not a soul that can confidently predict this game. So I'm just going off of what I've seen this year. And I know Georgia has the more impressive win going on the road to Texas. I just think when you play with fire so much, and Carson Beck is playing with fire the way he's playing quarterback, and you do that against this Ole Miss team, and when that place gets to rocking, and Lane Kiffin dials up that deep bomb play after he gets an interception, you know how this Ole Miss team is. They are some front runners. Let's just be honest. Ole Miss traditionally is a front running team.
Yeah.
You mess around and give them an interception and put them in good field position to start a drive. They will. Jordan Watkins will have a touchdown before you know it.
Look, that secondary, man, I bet you Kirby Smart, he been yelling at that secondary all week in practice.
Yeah, definitely. And so I wouldn't be shocked if Georgia wins, but I just have a feeling. And this is a chaotic season. And it would only be right for Georgia to get lost in the sauce a little bit and be amongst the chaos and fall victim to an Ole Miss team that literally has their backs against the wall. This is it. This is the season, Kory. It's put up or shut up in this game.
And you ain't talking about the TV show, the Ole Miss the season. You talking about this is the actual season.
This is the season. All the NIL dollars y'all spent are for this game because you lost to Kentucky. So this is it. You have to be perfect from here on out. Using the Kentucky and LSU. This is it.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Like, look, you don't win this game. That's it. Like, that's flat out. That's it. You can wrap this one up in maroon and white.
And that's the last thing they try to do out there now. They try to see a lick of maroon.
Oh man, exactly. So yeah, man, you gotta win this one. If you're Lane Kiffin, if you're Ole Miss, if you're in Oxford, a Mississippi native, you are pulling for the Rebels to win this ball game. I think this is your best shot ever in beating a Georgia team that's led by Kirby Smart. So you gotta strike while the iron's hot. And if they can do it, Chris, then hats off to Ole Miss. Hats off to Lane Kiffin out there. I mean, you spent the NIL money. You got the guys out there to compete with Georgia. You just gotta put a good game plan on the football field. So I'm going to be interested in seeing what happens in this game. I'm still looking at Georgia probably coming out on top. It won't be easy, but if the other way around, if Ole Miss can play the way that they played last week against Arkansas, the opportunity is there. So that's all I gotta say about that. Overall, I'm ready to watch this game. I've just been thinking about this game all week, so it's definitely gonna come down to who's gonna stand tall. So I'm very, very interested in seeing what happens. But yeah, Chris, should be a good one. Anything else you want to mention about this game before we move on?
Sir.
All right. Well, from one SEC game, Chris, to another, we got the game down in Baton Rouge. Number 15 LSU is hosting number 11 Alabama. Winner likely still in the hunt for a playoff spot. Loser, they got to answer to the fan base.
Oh boy.
I don't. Just like the Ole Miss Georgia game, Chris, I can't tell you. I don't know what to tell you about these two teams. This might be either one of the greatest LSU Bama games that we've seen in a while, probably since that 2011 game. Even though that game didn't have much scoring, it was just great defense. Or this could be one of the worst games we've seen from these two teams going head to head. What are your thoughts? No, you can say what you say.
I was just going to say, just like the Georgia game, Georgia Ole Miss, there is not a soul that can confidently tell you what's going to happen Saturday in this game.
No.
I can tell you what I think and feel may happen. Both of these teams, Kory, they have their flaws.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, LSU cannot run the football. I don't know why. I can't compute nor understand why. I think they just don't choose to, because you have two of the best offensive tackles in college football.
Mm-hmm.
And, with Emory and Will Campbell, but I don't understand it. And then with Alabama, they have struggled this year with just sustaining drives, with being sound, just very undisciplined. What's going to win out? Who will make the least amount of mistakes? Tradition, when you look at games like this, tradition tells you to go with the team that's at home, especially when you're talking about an undisciplined, penalized team like Alabama. You expect them to tighten up on the road.
Mm-hmm.
You're asking for a lot.
With this Alabama team, you might be asking for too much.
You might be asking for too much. But then also, Kory, we've seen Alabama, but Alabama's playing well. They're tough. You get fooled by, man, these boys are rolling. Hold on now, what we got going on over here? Like when they clicking. I've had this feeling all week. I think Alabama is the better team.
Mm-hmm.
I do. So I'm gonna go with Alabama. Mm-hmm. I'm not confident in it. But Jalen Milroe, he's a playmaker. I think he'll make enough plays in this game. I think Alabama will get back to running the football more, whether it is with Jalen Milroe. I think they'll look to get the time of possession, establish themselves, and when you get the running game going, and you can work off the play action pass and the pistol formation, your shotgun, I think then you can uncork some bombs to Ryan Williams. And I think Ryan Williams can get an explosive or two with the running game setting up the big plays. And I think you can force Nussmeier to try to make some plays. And we've seen how that plays out, Kory, when Garrett has to pass some more than maybe he wants to. There's also a world where LSU's wide receivers go crazy on Alabama's defensive backs because that group is very young and inexperienced. So I'm not going to rule that out. But I think Alabama finds a way to force a couple of turnovers from LSU. The offense takes advantage. Bama leaves with a 10-point win. 44-34, Alabama. I think it's going to be a high-score game.
Oh, nice. I will say this. I definitely think it's going to be a high-scoring game as well. I think it's just going to come down to both of these defenses probably not going to be able to stop each other. And I know we haven't even really delved deep into the injury report, Chris. But I'm not sure if you heard, but the injury report is out, and like there's like a slew of players for LSU, both offensively and defensively, that are out of this game, allegedly out. I mean, you got Harold Perkins,
like Ole Miss's injury report.
Yeah. You got Jordan Allen. You know, Wes Weeks is questionable. Like, come on now, I don't buy this one bit.
Nobody does.
I think all of these guys are going to be out there playing at the end of the day when it comes to this game. This is LSU Bama, Chris. None of these guys are going to miss this game unless they just really physically can't go, like a John Emery, of course. You know, that was out at the beginning of the season. But yeah, for the most part, these guys know how important this game is. I do agree with you. I do think that this game will be a very high scoring football game. It's going to come down to who makes less mistakes. I'm going to say this, Chris. I don't trust Bama one bit when it comes to mistakes. I think LSU, for what it's worth, Brian Kelly has coached good games this year. And I say that loosely because he's escaped a couple. But I think the main priority for LSU this weekend, for Brian Kelly's squad, is not try to do too much. I think them, trying to do a little bit too much has hurt their chances. I mean, Garrett Nussmeier.
They run the ball more.
Yeah, I think they need to run the ball more. I think they will run the ball more, just to be honest with you. And hopefully that will settle down Garrett, because it seems like they went out and decided that they wanted Garrett to just go downfield and just air it out 30, maybe 40 times a night, and run when they felt like it was convenient for them to run, and just go at that as being a game plan to beat people. But I think in particular this game, they really need to run the ball at will on Alabama's defense, and maybe that can help settle down Garrett, open up some pass plays, get some people down the field, and in hopes of them potentially winning this ball game. So I mean, they got the team to do it. It just, I think overall this game is going to come down to who makes the less mistakes. I mean, right now Alabama is they are the favorite from Vegas. They're 2.5 point favorite. So there is a possibility where Bama can get close with LSU, but when you flip the script, I think this 2.5 points can go in the LSU's favor as well if they do everything that I mentioned. So this game is up in the air for me. But if I had to pick someone, I think it's LSU at the end of the day.
Not mad at it. I mean, it can very well happen. I think
It's a lot.
you gonna, it is because they're just so both teams are very all over the place.
Yeah.
This especially Alabama. I just think Bama just has better playmakers. I think they just have better guys. In a game like this, you're gonna need your guys to be guys.
Mm-hmm.
If it's between Jalen Milroe and Gary Nussmeier, I want Milroe with the ball. I mean, Lacey's a great receiver. I want Ryan Williams with an opportunity to make a play.
Mm-hmm.
Durham is a very talented freshman running back for LSU. Mm-hmm. I think Jam Miller I think he's a really talented back. I think when you go player for player, I think Bama has the guys. And I want to see them be those guys in this game. And I think if they win, it's because they play like they are those guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's not great logic. It's not nothing tactical about it. But I think this is one of those games where you kind of had to throw that out the window. And so we'll see what happens. I would not be shocked any bit. Nor I would be surprised. None of that if LSU wins. And this is a good chance they win it very, very well in a game that's just even when you're the home team, Death Valley, at night. You should win. But Kory, there's a freaky, crazy world where the fact that Alabama has to unite and band together because of the environment they are going into, because this will be the most ruckus, wildest place they have seen. Maybe they clean some things up and play their best ball because of it really feels like it's us against the world, and it will be on Saturday in Baton Rouge. Because there ain't going to be a soul but your mama and daddy and brothers and sisters that's rooting for you at that game. Because you're going against the whole state of Louisiana, partner.
Yeah. Like, flat out. And I'm just now noticing they're going to have a real live tiger out there on Saturday night. So Mike the Tiger returns.
Could have brought Mike out.
Oh, man. They very serious. So that's all I got to say. Oh, man. So, yeah. Nighttime at Tiger Stadium. Baton Rouge.
We learned about Bama this game.
Yeah. I think we really gonna learn about Bama. It is one thing, you got to go to Rocky Top, on a Saturday night, but it's another thing when you gotta go to Baton Rouge in November at night. Good luck, especially when their playoff chances are also on the line, just like yours. I don't think I want to be there.
Both teams back against the wall, man. This is a nut check game, man. We really gonna find out about who's who.
Yeah.
Are you really that team?
Mm-hmm.
It's a playoff game. Essentially, this is a playoff game. So I'm ready for it.
I am too. So it's gonna be an interesting one indeed, Chris. Can't wait to watch it. And I think by the end of this game, we're definitely gonna find a little bit more out on who's the top teams of the SEC. Heading into the college football playoffs coming up this season, but. But yeah, man, should be a great game indeed. Anything else you want to add to this game, Chris, before we move on? All right. Well, now, Chris, we're just gonna stay in the SEC because it seems like the SEC is the only conference that wants to have games coming up this week. So now we're about to go to Austin, Texas, where the Florida Gators, Chris, are coming to town to take on the number 5 Texas Longhorns. So this game is going to be an interesting game. It's going to start off our day, 11 a.m. kickoff on the ABC. So yeah, before I talk about the game, Chris, as we're recording this on a Thursday, but you guys will hear it on Friday. So just yesterday, it was announced from athletic director at Florida, Scott Strickland, Chris, that Billy Napier will be retained at the University of Florida, not going anywhere. They seem locked in on what he's doing. They must have saw the cocktail party and they were like, wow, we picked off Beck a couple times. I think we can do something with this team. So now Billy Napier has his job still with the Gators, going into next season and looking to build something special, potentially with DJ Lagway. So, any of your thoughts about that, Chris, before we kind of move on in with the game a little bit more?
No, I think it's the right call. Mm-hmm. This team, you can't fire a coach, man, when he's down to the backup freshman.
No, you can't.
And then the backup freshman gets hurt too. Like, come on now, let's let him have another year. Mm-hmm. He's recruited solidly. The team is definitely bought in and playing good football. Mm-hmm. Florida's not bad at all. They just have it's been a murderous row of a schedule. I don't think it's a bad idea, and I think personally Billy Napier's had a solid season as a head coach this year. Mm-hmm. Good? Definitely not great. But it ain't been bad either.
No.
The dude lost his starting quarterback a month into the season, and he just got his true freshman talented backup. Just got injured in the Georgia game, and they were right there in the mix with Georgia. Mm-hmm. I don't know what more you want from the man.
Yeah. He trying.
He's trying. He really is. He's trying.
So yeah, I mean, hats off to Billy Napier. He gets a new lease on life, I should say, at Florida. So I mean, here's the hoping that he can really turn things around. Get a good recruiting class in. I know he's working hard to do that, and it does seem like the last several weeks, Chris, this team has not given up. They haven't quit on Billy Napier. So, heading into this weekend, you're taking on number 5 Texas. You want to keep showing that you're improving. You may not win the game per se, just with all of the injuries and stuff, but overall this was something that needed to be done to try to calm down just the chatter in Gainesville. So hopefully you can just kind of stick to football and try to get better.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, but overall, Chris, yeah, this game 11 a.m. kickoff. Texas is a 22.5 point favorite to win this game. I do think that Texas is going to be too much for the Florida Gators in this ball game. Quinn Ewers, hopefully, he got this bye week, got a chance to knock some rust off, get some confidence. I mean, taking on a team like Florida that has a pretty good defense that's been getting better. I mean, I might be wrong, Chris. Correct me if I am, but I think that this is a great opportunity for Quinn Ewers to get his confidence back against a quality SEC defense. if they want to win out the rest of the season. So overall, what are your thoughts just about this game? And do you think I'm in the ballpark? Do you think I'm kind of thinking the right way for this Texas team?
I think you're right because, I mean, honestly, Georgia was moving the ball against Florida. They just turned it over once they got past the 30.
Yeah.
You know. But Florida's defense is good. You know, it's a talented group. So is Texas. Texas is a talented team. And I'm pretty sure the defense is going up against the preferred walk-on for Florida, who came into the game last week. If he's starting and if DJ can't make it, give me Texas by 50. Like, it's going to get ugly because he won't be able to sustain drives, and just Florida's defense will get worn down, even if they have a good outing in the first quarter. That group can only stay on the field so long, so much. But yeah, give me Texas, and if DJ Lagway's on the field, it could be interesting. But what makes DJ the threat he is the fact he can run. And I would be surprised if he's running in that game. So either way, I think Texas wins comfortably. The only hope Florida fans should have about this game is if DJ somehow has a new hamstring and God has healed his body and he can run the football too. Because you need your quarterback to be able to use his legs to pull off upsets. And I don't think DJ's going to be able to move like that in this game. So give me Texas.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you 100%, Chris. I think that overall Texas is they're just going to be a little bit too much for Florida heading into this ball game. And yeah, I mean if Aiden Warner does get into this ball game, it's probably gonna be rough. It's gonna be a rough day if you're a Florida Gators fan, but you know it is what it is right now. I mean, you have no other choice right now but to put Warner out there. So I'm looking at this week. You know, it's a big week, big bounce back week for Texas and Quinn Ewers to, you know, shake off that rust, fix some things, and really showcase why you're still one of the best teams in all of college football right now, heading into this stretch. I think that they have everything in front of them to finish out the season the right way. And I think this week, this Saturday, is a good opportunity in showcasing that. So I'm looking at them to definitely win big. I mean, we talked about Florida and the news there. I mean, they won't have Jonte Cook the second, Chris. He's not on this football team anymore, but I think overall it doesn't matter. Like I said, I think you know, it's a next man up mentality with the Longhorns. So I have no issues with seeing them come out on top this weekend.
No, I agree 100%.
So yeah, man, should be a fun one for sure. But anything else you want to add to this game before we move on to our last highlighted game before we move on to Bolton's bets?
No sir. We can keep it moving.
All right. Well, Chris, out of all three of the SEC games we've highlighted on today's show, let's go into the Big 12 this weekend, because we got a big game down in Lubbock, Texas, Chris. Texas Tech, the Red Raiders, are going to host number 20 Colorado, yes, folks. The Buffaloes are coming into town in Lubbock. Dion's gonna be there. It's gonna be rocking. I know that place is gonna be crazy. Down at Jones AT&T Stadium. So I can't wait. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff on Fox, Chris. So, Gus Johnson, those guys, Joe Klatt, they're going to be hyping us up. This is going to be a big game for sure. Colorado. Vegas has Colorado, Chris, as a 3-point favorite in this ball game. And ESPN has Colorado 63.3% over Texas Tech in the matchup predictor. So, yeah, this is going to be a barn burner for sure down in Lubbock, Chris. I can't wait for this game. This is any team's game, of course. I mean, if you're Colorado right now, you're playing your best ball that you've ever played. I mean, we've heard Travis Hunter's thoughts. We've heard Dion and them. They're on a mission right now. And Texas Tech, not too far behind them. They're on a mission too. They're trying to get things figured out to try to get back in the Big 12 race, because this is still anybody's championship in the Big 12. So I'm going to let you talk about your thoughts, Chris, overall, because man, this is going to be a fun one. So what are your thoughts about this game on Saturday?
We have a game in front of us. I mean,
it's big.
Look, man,
it's a big one.
Big matchup. Like you said, Lubbock will be packed. The whole city will be in the stadium.
Oh, yeah.
So when you look at both of these teams, Tech, of course, led by Baron Morton at quarterback, good playmaker. Can be a little reckless at times, but he's taking care of the football. This season only has 5 interceptions.
Not bad.
Needs to remain that way against an opportunistic Colorado defense. Because the last thing you want to do is give Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter more opportunities than they already should to score the football. But if Tech wins this game, it's because of one man. And one man only, Kory. It's Taj Brooks.
Yeah.
Taj Brooks is an animal. He already has 1,000 yards rushing this season for the Red Raiders. 10 touchdowns, averages 5 yards a carry. We know Colorado's defense, at least that front 7. I think if there's a weaker part of this defense, it's the front 7, the D line specifically. And if Tech can control the line of scrimmage and keep Shedeur Sanders off the field, that is your best bet in beating Colorado. Make this game ugly. A time of possession game. Don't let that offense on the field. Easier said than done. Colorado's feeling themselves. This is the best Colorado has looked since Coach Prime has walked into the building. And I think Colorado senses this is their moment. This is their opportunity. We can crash the playoffs. We can do what we've been telling people we can do. The hype that everybody had watching Colorado football last year very well could have been a season too soon. And everybody can hop back on the bandwagon this year, because there is a real opportunity for this team to make the playoff, but they don't do so unless they win this one. Yeah, I think Colorado knows that, Kory. Now, it's a matter. It depends on, do you think they feel themselves a little too much, or if they're still locked in? I think they're locked in. I think they go into Texas Tech and they win a close game. I don't think they blow them out. Tech, even though everybody's patting them on their back, they want to make the Big 12 championship game too. And there's a chance if they win this, their hopes are still alive to do so. They can't go in out quietly, and they won't be too turned up. And no matter how many pats on the back they've received, I think this bunch is locked in. We're in for a thriller. This might be the game of the weekend, Kory. I'm gonna say that right now. But I'm gonna go ahead and side with the Buffs. I think Colorado squeezes this one out in what could very well be a game that goes into OT. That's how tight I think this game can be.
Nah, you're absolutely right, Chris. I think there's so many scenarios that this game could take. There's so many twists and turns. This is literally a roller coaster of a game. Like, you want to see what a roller coaster looks like in a football game? It's probably going to be this one.
It's all football.
Yeah.
That's the Big 12 for you.
Right. It's the gift that keeps on giving in the Big 12. But yeah, Chris, I think in terms of just Colorado overall, yeah, I think the biggest thing right now, people are asking themselves, are they for real? Are they really locked in? Yeah, I think this team is locked in at this point. We haven't heard Deion really talk like pretty much since the beginning of the season. That should scare anyone in the Big 12 or in the country.
He might be in the film room right now. He might not be, as we're recording this, he might be still at the office. They aren't messing around.
No, they aren't. By any stretch of the imagination, they're not messing around at all. So yeah, Chris, I think Colorado, they have an amazing opportunity to show up in Lubbock, to get the job done, to get that win, to potentially be at the number 2 spot of the Big 12. For Texas Tech, they have a great opportunity as well to potentially get in that number 2 or 3 spot in the Big 12 as well. Like, you know, we talk about fighting chances. This is the fighting chance. This is the chance. You know, if they want to still make it in the Big 12 championship, they're going to have to scratch and claw. And it starts this weekend against a ranked Colorado Buffaloes team that, you know, has arguably one of the best players in college football today, in Travis Hunter, has arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the game today in Shadur Sanders. So they got a lot of work to do. But it starts this Saturday if they want to get that job done. Same thing for Colorado. They got to, you know, keep tuning out that noise. It's going to be rocking in Lubbock. And they got to treat this game as a big-time business trip for them.
Biggest business trip. This is the biggest game of the year.
Yeah.
Every game you play from here on out is the biggest game of the year. You can't afford any slip-ups. They got to put it together.
Yeah.
And I think they will. And I also think Texas Tech will not back down. This is going to be a war, Kory. It's going to be battle. Because Tech, the team that we talked about, we teased Texas Tech early in the year, in the preseason. Team that's recruited well, finding some gems out there in Texas. We were aware of Taj Brooks and what he brings to the table and how high-powered this offense can be. They won a sloppy game against Iowa State. Typically, when you win a sloppy game, you clean things up the next week.
Yeah.
They can get this has shootout potential.
It does. It definitely does. So, and I think Deion knows that. I think Colorado knows that, and they're well equipped, Chris, to go into a shootout with Tech. And you can say the other way around with Tech. I think they're both well equipped to go into a shootout if it has to come down to that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I will be glued to the TV for this one.
Hey, get your popcorn ready. Get your Buffalo Wild Wings ready.
All of that.
Get your Dominoes ready.
Get your iPads ready, your cell phones charged up, whatever other devices you need to turn your home into Buffalo Wild Wings and have multiple screens up to watch the games going on at that hour. Do so, because you don't want to miss this one.
No, not at all. Not at all. I think this game, like you said, is probably going to be game of the week if it comes down, to just like a possession or two. So yeah, I can't wait to watch and see what happens with this game, Chris. I mean, we talked about what's going on in the SEC, but the Big 12, this is where it's at. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm. No, 1,000%, brother, 1,000%.
Yes, sir. Big time playoff implications.
You got the Buffs winning?
Yeah, I actually have Colorado winning this game. It won't be easy. It won't be easy because they kind of tune out that noise. But I think they're willing to do that because I think they know that it's coming. Like, Lubbock will be rocking. And, after Texas Tech won that game against Iowa State, they got that confidence that they needed. They're going into a big showdown this weekend against Colorado. Yeah, they want to have all hands on deck. And I think Colorado is up for that challenge.
We'll see. I think they are too, though.
So, yeah.
Oh, man.
Can't wait, man.
Who would have thought? Who would have guessed it? Colorado wins this game 7-2.
Yeah.
As we freshly start, the month of November, and this team is 7-2 after November 9th. Nobody saw this coming.
No.
7-2 in the playoff hunt. I don't think the world is ready for this. Colorado is really a playoff contender, especially if they win this game.
Yeah. All they gotta beat is they just gotta take care of the rest of their schedule, of course. But if they can make it to the Big 12 championship, we suspect it's BYU. That's all they have to take down, and they can get that first round bye. So it's wild, Chris, but that's where we're at.
All I can do is just shake my head, man. It is wild. And while we're on it, before we get to Bolton's bets, there's just a couple games I want to mention. We talked about games, this possibly being the game of the week. There's another game that we both have had our eye on since the schedule was released that takes place this week. It's finally here, my brother. It's the ACC's version of a Jefferson Pilot special.
Oh, please don't tell me it's
yes, it is.
About to tell me?
It's Georgia Tech Miami, baby. Oh. It's finally here.
Oh boy.
I want to touch on this real quick. We talked about teams possibly finally getting burned. If Miami comes around playing with their food against Georgia Tech, don't think Haynes King and company won't take advantage. And if the college football gods are so poetic, if there's a team that would be the team to derail Miami season, it would be Georgia Tech.
Oh man, look, man, they know a thing or two about throwing teams in the HVAC system, so
think Miami would be on their P's and Q's in this game after the debacle of last year's loss to Georgia Tech when they should have just nailed the game out and won it, but they didn't. Well, I'm telling you, Kory.
What world will we be living in if they lose against Georgia Tech for the second year in a row?
Don't be shocked.
This team's just cursed. This team's just cursed against Georgia Tech.
And you know I'm Mr. Miami, but don't be shocked. You can only play with fire so much. You played with it with Virginia Tech. You played with it against Louisville. You played with fire against Duke. Honestly, even though you covered and you ended up blowing them out, you played with it just a little bit against them. Don't do that. Don't play this game. Don't do this against Georgia Tech, Miami. I'm telling you now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that'd be rough if that happened. Oh my gosh. But yeah, no, I definitely get what you mean, Chris. Like, yeah, if you're Miami, don't be playing with your food. You got a big opportunity of a lifetime to finish out in the ACC as the top dog heading into this year's 12-team playoff. You lose this game, like, there's still a fighting chance, but I mean,
at Tech, I'm just saying.
You just don't want to get got late in the season like this. That's all I'm saying.
It's at Tech, and it's the month of November. And Kory, we have been watching this sport long enough. What is the craziest month of the season in college football?
It is the month of November. So when dreams go to die.
In a season that's eerily reminiscent of the year 2007. And we know how that November was.
Yeah, we definitely saw how that went. I might watch that video again.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
I just wanted to throw that game out there real quick. And then also, South Carolina Vandy. That is must-see TV as well. That is cinema.
Look, man. Hey, Diego Pavia saw the first college football playoff ranking this past Tuesday, Chris. That man's pissed. That man is pissed. He's looking to take it out on somebody.
South Carolina's favored on the road. Hey.
What do you think about? What do you think about fans that are bullish on taking that bet? Do you think they should slow the brakes just a little bit, slowly roll?
Not a penny of my hard, not a cent, not a dime, but my hard-earned money will be put on the South Carolina Vanderbilt game. Stay far, far away. Because just as easily South Carolina can win that game, Vanderbilt can win it too. Because as soon as you start feeling good about South Carolina, you got to remember, they're South Carolina. And we're buying stock in this team.
Yeah. I know.
But just remember, it's still South Carolina.
Hey, look, man. Look, after I saw Shane Beamer sing "When I See You" by Fantasia Barrino, I said, look, man, this team is locked in. If I ever seen a team get locked in.
They are going places, but I'm gonna stay. I would stay far away from this game. Staying far away from LSU, Alabama. Staying far away from Georgia, Ole Miss. I'm gonna tell y'all right. As we transition into Bolton's bets, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. You ain't gotta worry about seeing those 3 games on the slate.
Just lock those in yourself.
Do what you do. You finna get a recommendation from me about those games.
Like, hey, I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna let y'all handle them games.
Y'all can zig. I'm a zag.
Oh man, I agree with you. I do the same as well. Oh man, but yeah, no, those are some interesting games too. Some sleeper games out there for the week for you guys. So yeah, I hope y'all are able to tune in to watch some of those games this weekend. But yeah, Chris, are you all ready? As we're getting ready to wrap the show up, but before we do, you're all ready to do Bolton's bets.
Oh, I got you covered, brother. Let's do it.
All right. Well, everyone, you know what time it is. We're at the time of Bolton's bets. You know, that time where Chris lays out his top games for each week of the college football season. You want to make a little money. You want to, hit the parlay for the week. Chris has you covered. So, Chris, go ahead. Let the good people know what games you have for week 11.
All right. I have 3 I'm going to lock in. And 1, just throwing it out there, honorable mention. Mm-hmm. Not advising you to put it on there. But if you like what your boys say, why not? But our first one, 3:30 kickoff, Eastern Time, CBS game. Michigan at number 8, Indiana. Never thought I'd say those words. Michigan at number 8, Indiana.
Is that a basketball game or is it a football game?
It's a football game.
Ain't college basketball now.
But Indiana 14.5 point favorites, Kory.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Michigan, coming into the season, we thought the defense was elite. Not very good, but elite.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they have Johnson on the outside, this secondary's been kind of oof. They've been getting a little torched, a little cooked. And that offense ain't it.
Nah.
They've been searching to get the quarterback together. And it's just not happening this year, Kory. And on the other hand, I know Indiana ain't played anybody, but they ain't been in any games either. They've been putting thumpings, shellackings on everybody they play. No matter who it is. They've been handing out whoopings. Belt to ass, as the kids say.
And having fun doing it.
Yeah. I think belt to ass is going to be put on. Is going to be happening in this game too, Kory. I think Indiana covers. That offense is dynamic.
They are. Like, they're not playing.
And Michigan can't score.
Nope. Which is unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. So,
team won that championship last year.
Exactly. So, give me Indiana to cover. I like that. Secondly, we're going to head on over to Knoxville, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee, number 7 Tennessee, hosting Mississippi State. Mm-hmm. Now, at the beginning of the season, we were thinking we were going to be taking Tennessee in the points to cover the spread in this one. I like what I've seen from Mississippi State. I think this is an opportunity for Michael Van Buren to put the world on notice that I am the best freshman quarterback in the conference, not Nico Iamaleava. Who would have thought we would be saying that, at this point of the season? But look at it. Look at the 2 stats, people. That's all I'm gonna say. As a matter of fact, I'll let Kory tell y'all.
Yeah. Earlier, before we had started recording, I had mentioned to Chris that this stat line is very interesting between the 2 quarterbacks. So Michael Van Buren heading into this game right now, folks, he's 97 for 170, 1,323 yards with 9 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions on the season. Nico Iamaleava, listen to this stats. He's 136 for 208, 1,705 yards with 9 touchdowns, just 9 interceptions. Folks, it may just be me.
And one guy was the day one starter.
Yeah. One guy is a day one starter. Like, if it's just me, I'm being honest, both of these quarterbacks are kind of playing the same right now. So, you know, we can say what we want to say about, you know, the defenses for both of these teams. It is definitely night and day, for sure. But I don't know. I think at the end of the day, it might come down to who's more accurate and who's more feistier than who. Is it going to be Nico or is it going to be Van Buren, a guy that, you know, I hate to, you know, put on my maroon colored glasses, but I'm just being honest in terms of the outlook of the SEC next year. Van Buren might be one of the better quarterbacks in the league next year.
Yeah, no, I agree, Kory, 1,000%. And this is a Mississippi State team that played Georgia, Texas A&M, all very hard, all close games. Tennessee has struggled offensively after getting off to their hellacious, just hot sizzling start in non-con play. Things have, slowed down, come to a screeching halt, truthfully, in conference play. They have not been that dynamic offense. And I think there's real upset potential here. I know Mississippi State's defense is atrocious. Historically bad. And honestly, I have not seen a worse Mississippi State defense in my life.
Like you can put this defense in the history books.
And in a bad way.
Tell your kids, you know, how bad this defense was. It was bad.
They will remember this defense for how terrible it is, how terrible it was. But there's opportunity for an upset. And we'll see what game plan State coaches team up. But there's an opportunity for an upset. But at the very least, there's a strong opportunity for this to be a game. And so give me Mississippi State with the 24.5 points. Definitely taking that, because I think State has shown that they can play top teams in the nation, playoff contenders closely. They can do the same against Tennessee.
Nice.
And lastly, my number 3 game, brother. Washington at number 6, Penn State. Penn State 14-point favorites. I know Penn State normally wins these kind of games, but Washington has a really good squad, solid team.
They do.
I think there's potential that this is a close game. I'm taking Washington in the points. It's November. Kory. Crazy things happen in November. I'm not picking Penn State to lose. But don't be surprised when you scrolling through the channels and you just looking at different games and you come across this one. And it's a 10-point game in the fourth quarter and Will Rogers is driving, leading with the Huskies down the field to try to make it a one-possession game. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Will Rogers, veteran quarterback. We know all about him at Mississippi State. Don't think Penn State is immune to blowing the game.
Look, you embarrassed yourself at home last week against Ohio State. You know, at the end of the day, is this team still thinking about the woes of last week? or have they really moved on?
What do coaches always say? Let's not let one loss become two.
Yeah.
And don't think that a veteran quarterback, isn't going to be locked in and primed and ready to be able to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Will Rogers, his days are numbered when it comes to playing the game of football. He would love nothing more than to add a win against a top 10 team to his resume, to his legacy.
Yeah.
On the road. These are the games you dream about playing in.
Mm-hmm.
And Washington, they have the number 2 pass defense in the nation, Kory. This secondary will strap you up.
Yeah. They're really
This
good.
is a real game. This is a real game. Give me Washington in the points. Those are my 3 locks that I'm going to leave y'all with. And then the bonus, I think you know where I'm going for my bonus. we go to Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh.
Number 4, Miami at Georgia Tech. Miami, 11-point favorites. If you're feeling frisky, do a solo bet on the side and do the Georgia Tech money line. Just do that on the side. Don't ruin the parlay. Don't ruin the parlay. Just do a side bet solo and take Georgia Tech money line, because there is no spot that is. This is typical Miami, and I'm a Miami supporter. But for this team, they're 9-0. They've been playing with fire all year. They're going on the road to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech will not let Miami off the hook. I'm telling y'all that right now. If Miami plays around with Georgia Tech, they will give them the game they are asking for. Vegas has Miami as 11-point favorites for a reason. Come on now. Miami's 9-0. Georgia Tech's 5-4. But they're only 11-point favorites. Vegas knows. Vegas knows. Vegas knows. I'm telling you. Take Georgia Tech in the points if you want to on a different separate parlay. But if you're feeling frisky, everything is there for Georgia Tech to win this game. Mm-hmm. Haynes King is a very good quarterback. Georgia Tech is a very good team at running the football. They are built to keep a dynamic offense like Miami off the field. This is styles make fights. And Georgia Tech's offensive style is designed to keep a team like Miami from doing what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia Tech will try to win the time of possession battle. They will make this game ugly. And if they do so, and if they succeed at doing so, and you limit Miami's possessions, now you put the pressure on Miami to have to score when they get the ball, because they know that the times that they get it is limited. Anything can happen. I'm not calling the upset. I'm just laying out the groundwork for how it can happen. And don't be shocked, people, if Georgia Tech pulls it off. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's just a potential blueprint of what could happen. It's not saying it is going to happen, but I'm saying it's going to happen. I mean, folks, we've seen too much of Miami in these close call games. Now, something has to give. My God.
So, too, Kory, you see it as well?
I definitely see it. Bobby Dye Stadium's going to be rocking on Saturday. I think if you're Miami, you don't need to be going in the Bobby Dye, with an unserious attitude at all. I know you're Miami. I know you got Cam Ward. He's been playing lights out all season. Restrepo and company. Those guys are some dogs. But it's Georgia Tech. They're very scrappy. And I think when their backs are against the wall and a lot of people aren't believing in their team, they're willing to give you one of the best games of their lives each and every week when it comes down to that. So I'm very bullish on Georgia Tech getting the job done.
They aren't scared of you. Matter of fact, they will be talking noise all game because they know how badly you want this one. Miami's going to really want this one, and if things start not to go their way, if things don't go Miami's way, the team might play a little emotional.
Yeah,
that might not be the best thing. Then you start making mistakes. There's a lot of ways this game can go left for Miami. I will be tuned in. I will be glued to this one at noon.
Yeah. I mean, what a way to kick off your Saturday, your chaos Saturday potentially. This coming weekend. So, I'm with you, Chris, 100%. This is going to be a great slate of games, and I think particularly this game is going to, definitely be one of those tone set games of the day. So I'm excited, man.
1,000. Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. Boy, yeah, we will be there.
Oh yeah, that we will. So yeah, man, it should be a fun weekend indeed. Got some great picks out there for you guys on Bolton's Bet. So Chris, we always appreciate you. Let the good people know how they can, lay the chips down, make a little extra money out there each and every week.
Yes, sir.
Nice. Well, my brother, this is going to be a great weekend. Week 11. We're about to find out a lot about these teams. Can't wait for us to break down some of these games on Monday's show. I think this is going to be one of those weeks that we're going to be talking about for a while.
This weekend lines up as a potential. It's not an upset warning, but there's an upset watch. Mm-hmm. And if you aren't, the conditions are lining up for some storms to pop up in certain cities, certain stadiums. Mm-hmm. And if the stars align, we can see several teams get knocked off unexpectedly. It could be, I'm not saying it will be, but it could be the craziest weekend we've seen to date.
And I'm ready. Just bring it on. Just bring it on.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, this is what the people wanted. 12-team playoff now. Somebody has to get the axe.
Hey, you ain't lying, bro. You are not lying. And in 2007, there was a weekend like this where every top team lost. Something happened where every top team lost, and that could very well be the case this weekend.
Yeah.
We ain't calling for the upsets, but let's just be honest. If there's a world where Ole Miss beats Georgia, it's very well this season.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think it's right there for the taking.
If there's a world where Alabama goes into Death Valley and wins, we do. It's very well this season. That ain't what you normally do. You don't normally just go into Death Valley and win.
Right.
So we will see. But it lines up to be crazy.
Yeah, it does. It does. So, yeah, man, it's going to be a crazy one. We're going to be here on Monday going over it. And, I can't wait for us to, break it all down here on the show.
We'll be texting all day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we will.
We'll be texting, having 4 or 5 screens up. It's going to be crazy. Oh man, but I can't wait to do it, partner. It should be fun. Should be fun indeed. So yeah, man. But yeah, Chris, another great show, sir. We appreciate you Always, I appreciate you, sir, being
Appreciate you,
here,
brother. Yes, sir.
talking about this crazy world of college football. So yeah, man. Before we head out of here, Chris, let the good people know where they can find you on social media.
Yes, you can find your boy on X at Chris_Bolton_12 and on Instagram at Chris.Bolton_. Talking all things college football, NFL, fantasy, NBA. The Dubs are back. Strength in numbers, baby. You see us. 7-1 to start the season. We out here just beat the defending champs. So you might see me talking a little more noise about the Dubs because we back, baby. We ready. But yes, you can find your boy on X and Instagram. Holla at me.
Nice. Yeah. Steph is he's on a revenge tour right now. He's on that Leah Morgan revenge tour right now. Except he doing it his way.
I'm crying, but yes, and he's on the hunt for number 5. I think we're a title contender. We will see as the season continues.
We will see.
But don't let Steph get number 5, Kory. I'm gonna be out here talking about he the GOAT for real.
You gonna be
LeBron
out here.
Who? LeBron who? Steph got 5 of them things. Don't play with me.
Oh man, you gonna be out here talking loud in these streets.
Oh, y'all gonna be sick of me. It's gonna be some block button put on my profile if Steph gets number 5.
Don't worry, I'll vouch for you on this one. I'm like, look, Steph deserved it. He stepped up when no one else would. Oh man, but yeah. Well, we definitely appreciate that, sir. Yeah, definitely, guys. Follow Chris on social media. He's definitely on there talking about some of your favorite sporting events out there in all of sports. So yeah, you can find me on X as well at Listen to KSW. On there talking college football. The NBA is back. Talking wrestling. So yeah, definitely follow me on there as well. So, but yeah, Chris, another great show indeed. We'll be back here on Monday to go over the week that was and week 11 of the college football season. Be sure to be tuned in to listen to our review of the week. But until next time, I'm Kory Willis. He's Chris Bolton. You are listening to the Breakdown Sportscast. We will catch y'all later. Peace.
Peace.